We went on a day game trip to a place where no day gamer has been on a day game trip to, Uganda. Well, at least we couldn't find any real evidence of guys having come here for day game. I'm here with my good friend, I would say my best day game friend, Mr. T. We've done countless of trips together, been to a bunch of really cool places. And around a week ago, we arrived in Uganda. Hello, Mr. T.
Hey, what's up?
Mr. D, as always, as usual, will be out of the frame to kind of preserve his privacy a little bit, even though if you really dig into past podcasts, he's come out of the closet in one of them. So in this podcast episode, we're going to talk about a bunch of topics. First of all, so far, we've done more online than day game, and I'm going to explain why that is the case and how that is going to change until the end of the trip. We're also going to talk about the types of girls we've seen here. What's up in general with day game here? Can you approach here? Are other people approaching here? I've done some new experiments with paying for Uber. That's a topic that there are very conflicting opinions about, and I finally think I have a clarity on this topic. When is it a good idea and when is it a terrible idea? We're going to talk about a common problem in some African countries where girls are asking for money after sex and how we found a workaround for this. And I've already dodged 2 bullets, or at least 1, but maybe 2, yeah? We're going to talk about scams on Tinder, something that Mr. T will share his experience with. We had some fun story from yesterday. I also had a match with the same girl. Absolutely crazy local traditions when it comes to sex. Girls were completely surprised that they even knew about stuff like that. And then we're gonna talk about the fun part. How did the dates go and what did I learn from them? Because I had some fun last-minute resistance experiences. I've been on 4 dates so far. 2 of them already ended as late as on the first date, but more details on that a little bit later. And then at the end, I'm gonna tell you what's our plan for the rest of the day, for the rest of the stay here. But in case you kind of think, hey, this is a fucking cool trip, I want to go on a trip like that as well. So you have a chance to join me on my next trip. Early January, I am going to Mexico and I still have 1 coaching spot available there. That means we would be day gaming together for a week. I'll be teaching you everything you need to get results in day game. But you can find out all the information about how coaching usually works, the approximate pricing, etc. by clicking the link in description. There you can also schedule a call where we will get to know each other and talk details. An important detail is that is my only planned trip in 2026 to that part of the world. I don't have any more trips planned to anywhere in Latin America, USA, Canada, or anywhere there. So if you want to learn in that part of the world, then this is your opportunity and there's only 1 spot left available. With all this fucking being said,
Let's get started.
Let's get started. Yeah. So one thing I maybe didn't clarify. Yeah. I'm, as you see, I'm Mazungo, a white guy. Yeah. But Mr. T is actually black. Mr. T, where did you grow up?
I grew up right here.
Yeah.
In Uganda.
So give like a short version of kind of what's your Ugandan history, and why did you want to come here?
Wait, my Ugandan? That's hard.
No,
Okay.
like just you grew up here.
I did
Then you
grow
moved
up
away.
here.
Now
I
you're
grew
back.
up here till half of my life I was here, and then I moved to the US for college. And that was a completely different experience. But because of that, I never spent more than 2 weeks in Uganda, and I wanted to spend a longer time. So we planned this whole trip, and now we're here for quite a bit.
Yeah, so I'm here for 3 weeks total. Mr. T is staying longer, and basically this podcast episode, when it comes to online, we're going to start with looking at, hey, so what are the differences between Mr. T is coming here as someone who has spent half of his life living abroad, but he was born here, he's a black guy, and I come here as like a white guy from Europe.
Just
like
a white dude, doesn't matter.
shiny thing, you know? So let's kind of look at that, because there are more differences than I actually expected. So what has been by the way, why we have done more online than in person so far? Because we first did a safari trip. We went to an amazing place where we saw like zebras and, impalas and hippos and water buffaloes and leopards and giraffes and whatnot. Yeah. And then since we were there far away from the city, we started with some online, set up some dates. But then we set up so many dates that during the day, there is no traffic on the street. You have to go in the evening, but all evenings are packed with dates. So it has been kind of very hard to put in decent volume. But today I have a date at 7, which means I'll have around 2 hours for like a small day game session, maybe like 1.5 hours. Because of that, we've done a bunch of online. I've personally done a huge number of day game approaches here. All together 3, yeah. They ended with 3 number closes. One of them is a date that I have tomorrow, but I haven't texted her yesterday, so we have to like whether that even happens. But and Mr. T, you've done
I have done
a very big number.
have I done 0?
No, you've done 1. You had your chick there. Because in my 3, I'm counting the crafts market chick in my 3.
No, I actually think I've done 0.
No, you had that chick where like that evening when you were out with the other guy.
Oh right, no, yeah. So okay, that was what, a day game at night. That was like a
who cares?
got a game.
Game.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, that. And the funny thing is that she's the one who kind of like walked back towards me.
Yeah, but you could like kind of gesture.
Of course, it was day game. It was everything. Yeah. We went through the whole thing.
And so because of that, this whole thing that we have here right now is going to be more about online dating. Yeah. So, but there's going to be more day game stuff to come in the following weeks because this is just part 1, first impressions. Yeah. What has been your experience on doing online here so far?
I can't believe you're beating me in my own country. So what happened is I think. So I didn't set up my Tinder till we actually arrived here, and then I was organizing the safari and everything else. But you had, I think, a few days head start.
No, I set it up on the airport on my way here.
Okay, that's a good enough head start. 24 hours at least head start. But I think by the time you were here, you had almost 100 matches. I don't know, 50 matches.
I don't know how many, but shit ton of them.
Yeah, he had so many matches, and I think I had just 4.
Yeah, so that's the first takeaway is like I'm getting so many matches and girls DMing me and so many likes that I kind of understand how chicks feel where they just don't respond to most of the guys messaging them. I just stopped responding to most. After I got my first 2 lays, spoiler alert, or I already said that before. After I got my first 2 lays, I decided I'm only interested in chicks and big boobs. So I unmatched everyone who doesn't have huge tits.
Yep.
But you've had some matches, right?
I mean, my matches picked up just a bit. I did some little tweaking of my account, and I had quite a few. Still not as many as you. I think I'm still under 30, maybe under 20.
Yeah. So 2 days ago, I swiped left on like 100 likes that I've had. And then yesterday evening, I did let on like 60 or more. So it's kind of like that. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. So that's why I've been doing more online here. When it comes to the types of girls we've seen here. So I like a girl who's sort of petite, but has tits. It's kind of rare to see that, but yeah, so nice slim body, but with like jugs. Whereas your taste is very different.
I'm an equal opportunity lover. But we are in Uganda, so it's just big booties everywhere. And because the difference here is that you have big booties that are not fat booties, right? It's like, it's not just like the girls are fat, they just actually have bigger butts, more muscle, which is something is very rare in the US. So since I'm here longer, I want to use this opportunity to get what I can get there. But the moment I switch back to the US, I'm going to flip. So
yeah, and the term is nyash, right?
That is
nyash for booty, Nigerian word, right?
Or yes, was it comes from Nigerian pidgin.
But the actual types of girls you can see here, unfortunate for me, they are either with nyash, with big booty, or they are very petite with no tits. It's very rare, like in my experiences, what I've seen on the streets, to see a chick that is sort of petite but also has tits.
Yeah.
The girl at the crafts market where we went to yesterday, that I decided, okay, she's hot, I'm gonna number closing with chat a little bit. Like she had a bit of tits, but like nothing crazy, nothing like And my first experience with tits here was I on my first day in the city where the airport is in Tebe. I went on this date on the first day, and then she has like a nice booty, what I like. I don't like these big booties. And then when I take off her bra, like turns out it's a newly invented term, copyright St. Robert, National Geographic titties.
I don't know if many people just watch National Geographic.
Yeah, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, that was the only good shitty thing. Yeah, so that's about the types of girls. But you see a lot of different types. You see a lot of kind of classy looking girls, because we were staying in the one neighborhood that's really posh, or if you can call it really posh, somewhat like livable. As a foreigner, you can live here and you're not going to be like surprised. Oh my God, am I going to get stabbed? Right? It's relatively safe. It's posh. A lot of people here are foreigners. And the chicks that are, I think I got the impression that the people who hang in this neighborhood, they're like the 1%ers of Kampala.
Probably upper middle class.
Yeah. Which is another reason why I like online in places like this. So I'm not a big fan of online in any big developed city like New York City or any city in the US, actually any city in Europe. Yeah. Even Argentina, even maybe Mexico City, Medellin, Bogota. I'm not a Bogota. Oh no, Bogota is different. But these developed cities, why I'm not a big fan of online, because if you go to the main Daygame locations, you're going to see all types of girls from different walks of life. People are going to mixing, everyone's everywhere. So it's like really cool. Whereas in a place like this, or in a place, even actually Mexico City, partially if you go to like Polanco or Buenos Aires less, but also if you go to like Recoleta or you go to Palermo neighborhoods, these are neighborhoods where the wealthiest people live. So if you have, so you're limited to a very specific type of a girl. She's a girl from that background, or she's good enough to get a job in that area. Whereas any girls that are not exposed to this lifestyle, you're not even getting a chance to meet them, because they live in poor neighborhoods. So what I like in places like this, with online, you get to meet girls, and when you get to know them, because to me, when I travel and when I go out with local girls, it's very interesting to get to know the culture through them, because they can tell you what it's actually like. Yeah. And it's very interesting if they're not from that posh part of society, and you get girls from middle class or lower class sometimes, because it's so interesting to me see different perspectives on life. I don't know. Yeah, any thoughts on this? Or
Yeah, if you limit yourself to just this area, then you'll only get a very specific kind of person. And it's not so much that that people live in poor neighborhoods, but it's just this is like one of the more expensive neighborhoods to live in, right? So even if you are doing well, you don't want to live here because everything is just overpriced. And so you get the opportunity to actually find the girls that are a bit farther out in the city, but still have a decent lifestyle.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because one of the girls I was out with, she lives in a good, safe neighborhood, but it's just like a sleeping neighborhood where you would live in your whatever gated community, gated house, whatever, but there's nothing to do there. So it's like a quiet place, and it's not like you're going to meet them anywhere else. And it's far away from here, like a 30-minute ride in an Uber. So you're not going to meet them here. So it kind of exposes you to very different types of girls, which is what I like about online. Yeah, about what Daygame's like here. So I have a friend who spent around 7 years in East African countries, Kenya, Uganda, and some more. Yeah, and he basically explained his approach to dating here, that if he sees a girl, he just goes, talks to her, takes her number, makes sure that she knows he's married, and he still hasn't had a single girl to kind of have any problems with that, which was very interesting to find out. So they are very open to being approached. When with all of my huge Daygame experience of 3 approaches here, right? All the girls have been pretty open to being approached, reacted relatively positively, but I'll be able to comment more on this when I actually do some more Daygame sessions this week, and then we'll see. That's all we have to say about Daygame here. I guess we can move on to the experiments. Yeah.
There is one more thing. I don't think we've found a proper Daygame spot where we can be like, hey,
the mall is
good. I did feel like I did see a few of the same people show up there every 2 days apart.
Yeah.
It does have traffic though. So
in the evening.
Yeah, and it's best right now it's really hot. So it's not great to be out before 4, before 5.
Yeah, so during the day, I did a Daygame session. This is why I don't have volume. I did a Daygame session for like 1.5 hours. I did one open. I saw maybe if I really wanted to, I could have opened a few more, but there was literally no one around because it was so hot. Whereas I go on a date, let's say 5, 6 p.m. and I arrive and I see there's lots of people around there. So it's really busy in the evenings. But yesterday when we went downtown, there were some people walking around. If someone really wanted to approach and like a super busy neighborhood. You could do downtown, not necessarily a place where I would go for day game, but
It's very chaotic.
yeah, if you go there to explore and see a cute chick, I mean, why not? That's how I ended up like in a number closing the chick who worked in a crafts market where I bought some stuff and I'm chatting with her. So that's with the day game. Paying for Uber, very controversial topics. I've always said that if a girl asks you to pay for her Uber, then that's a really big red flag that she's a gold digger. Whereas here, I have been paying for Ubers, and I had a good I decided to do an experiment on this because there are a lot of people who say one thing and there are a lot of people who say the other thing. And I think when you have two groups strongly arguing, I don't think either of them is right. I think there's truth is somewhere in between. I think I've kind of partially cracked the truth. And my thinking is it depends on where you are. So I think if you are in a place where there are a lot of foreigners hitting local chicks and there's a bit of a gold digging culture, then that is a red flag. Whereas if you are in a place where a girl, it's highly likely that she simply doesn't have the money to pay for Uber, and then she has to come to the date location, probably a 30-minute or more Uber ride away from where she lives, in a nice dress, all dolled up. She doesn't want to do that with like these like public transport taxis. Like it's not a way to get around this city if you're all dolled up, or also I think safety-wise, partially.
Yeah. So my take on that, and I'm one of the, I know you're asking, I'm the one who say, hey, get the girl the Uber, right? Because one of the things you say is that they're always late, and I'm like, so this is the thing. In Uganda, you can take public transport, but it's not the most convenient. And of course, if you're going on a date, you're probably going to just get dirty on it because the taxis or the minivans that we use here are not always like, they're basically janky. And also a lot of people live outside of the city, right? Where it's a long distance. So knowing the culture, I'm like, yo, dude, just order the Uber for the girl. One, gets her here quicker. And then two, if she's leaving, it's just not great for anyone to be out late, especially a girl. It's safer for her to go home in an Uber.
Yeah. So I've kind of done sending girls back on Uber in the past. I think that's kind of reasonable. It's late, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But here, I'm definitely paying for Ubers to get them out on a date and to send them back just because of the factors you described, the safety, how long it takes, how big of a mess it is. And I don't think it's anything bad because they simply don't have the money to come out on a date.
It's only $3.
It's only like $5-6 usually. Yeah. If she's like far away. Whereas if a girl ever asks you this in a place like any westernized place, anywhere, any city that's developed, forget it. It's the extreme. It's like one of the most obvious red flags.
Princess.
She's filtering for a guy who will pay for stuff. That's it. Same as asking for flowers and any of that stuff. Yeah. Same as for Buenos Aires. I think if a girl in a Buenos Aires, another way to decide which cities to do this in and which cities you shouldn't pay for the ride is how well developed is the public transportation system. Buenos Aires has an incredibly well developed public transportation system, beats most places. Beats a lot of places in Europe, I would actually say. Definitely beats any fucking place in the US, maybe except New York City, but probably even New York City.
New York has trashy.
Yeah, but it's you can get places,
places.
But Buenos Aires, so in a place like that, like there should be no reason why a girl needs you to send her an Uber. So that's kind of when should you do it, when shouldn't. Like now you should have like a good idea when it's a good idea to pay for Uber and when it's just like a red flag that she's looking for someone who will pay for stuff, because girls have to filter if they're looking for like a sugar daddy or whatever, like they have to filter for the right guy to avoid wasting time, right? That's why we don't oftentimes take girls on dinner dates. We're kind of filtering for the right thing. We're not going on lunch dates or coffee middle of the day. We're filtering for, hey, this is a date, this is not friendly. And just as we do this, these girls who are gold diggers or whatever we call them, they have to filter for the right type of a guy, for a guy who will pay for stuff. And then two ways to do that: ask for flowers, ask for an Uber. That's it. That's on that. And then next, this was interesting. How did we learn this about girls asking money after sex?
Oh yeah, so you have a friend of yours.
Was he the one who told?
He said that you had a friend of yours who had been here for quite a bit, and he said he went on a date. He went on a few dates whereby the girls would not be clear about the fact that they were working girls, and it was only after they had sex that they started asking for money.
I chatted to this buddy of mine and I asked him, what are the red flags? And he said, well, sometimes a girl will ask for money after sex. It's like, well, what the fuck? Because normally, okay, if she's a working girl, that's fine. You do you, not my cup of tea. Have never tried it, not intending to do so. But yeah, she would kind of hide that fact, and then after having sex, she would then ask for money. And I asked the guy, so hey, how bad is it? And it's like, it's really like they wouldn't leave the apartment, and nothing works, and you can't get her out until you pay her. And can you call building security? Can you call police? Knowing,
I think he said he called security and they just didn't do anything.
Yeah, they're not gonna do shit, and police isn't gonna do shit. Like police is pretty much non-existent here. Like unless they're looking for a way to fine you to get a bribe, and
occasionally they'll do their work.
Yeah, when they have to escort someone somewhere. Yeah, so it's a problem here where you have to filter for this. And I started thinking, so how do I filter for this if it only, like, she only tells this to you after you've had sex? And then I came up with a wonderful solution. I asked my buddy, and my buddy said, yeah, you can just ask them directly. Hey, there are a lot of girls who do that. Are you one of them? And he also said, if you invite them straight to your place and they very easily come to your place, then it's a red flag that she might be a sex worker who asks for money later. So by doing that, you're pretty much filtering out the kind of quote unquote good girls, and then the ones who come, there's a big risk that she might be a work professional, or she might be a working lady. And the way I solved this, I came up with you guys know, if you've been following me, you know that I love storytelling, and I like setting up ideas with storytelling and planting ideas with storytelling, using storytelling to make girls do something or say something. And what I did, I texted all of my leads that I had dates set up with. I said, hey, I just spoke to a buddy of mine who's been living here for 7 years, and he told me this crazy dating story. I'll send you a voice message later. And then when they responded, I sent a long voice message. And the voice message was, so yeah, I have this friend who's been living here for 7 years, and when he moved here years ago, he was single, so he was going out on dates. Because he was single, and then he told me the story how he goes on a date with a girl, and then she shows up, and they really like each other, they really click, everything is really amazing, it's really nice, and since they really like each other, they ended up going to the guy's place, and later they ended up having sex, and then all of a sudden the girl asks for money, and this is where it goes crazy, because the girl she's really persistent, and she wouldn't leave, and so at the end, the guy picks her up, puts her over his shoulders, carries the girl outside, and leaves her on the street. And I just didn't know that stuff like this happens in Uganda. I was just blown away. That's crazy. This is where the voice message ends. I send it to every girl. And why do I do that? Because when I say this, if she's that type of a girl, she's going to tell me, oh yeah, that's normal. We do that here. And I had one girl say, yes, that's normal. I'm also like that. If a guy is meeting just for fun and he's not going to marry me, he has to pay for it. Perfect. Bullet dodged, canceled the date. An hour later, I had like 20 minutes later, I had a new date set up for the same day that I freed up. So this story has definitely saved me some kind of headache, because that girl was very interested in meeting. Oh my God. There were some other red flags. She was kind of complaining about life a little bit, about how life is so hard, and about money. So when girls complain about these things over text, that's also a big red flag that she's actually a gold digger, and maybe like kind of baiting you to try to save her, right?
You should just ask her, you broke?
Yeah, but that's, because imagine she's nice, and you say, you broke? Like, yeah, everyone's broke. Like, probably like 90% of people here are broke.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, because I had this chick that I had a date set up with, and like, first of all, how do you avoid red flags in these places? One big red flag, and you had the same red flag.
Yeah, we'll go over mine, I guess. It's just after this, I suppose.
No, just go ahead. What was your red flag?
Okay, so I also did go to an online match, and everything was going good with the texting. So I think when I spoke to you, like, just do the date request. So I do the date request, and the date request was supposed to be for 2 days ago. But I got when I was scheduling the date for later, I said, "Hey, is 7 p.m. good?" It was like, "Yes." And then I get another text saying, "Oh, by the way, may I please get money for gas? Um, I want to drive my mom's second car, because that's what I do when I'm here, and I don't want my family to see that." Because I offered her to get a hand Uber. Couldn't not her. I don't know who's on the other side. But I was like, yeah, I was like, let's just get you an Uber. And she's like, well, I don't want them to see random people come pick me up in an Uber. So at this point, I was doing a calculate. I was like, all right, what's the calculate? I was doing the math in my head. What's the calculated risk of finding out if this is a scam or not, right? And you were so vehement. You're like, so you say like, dude, that's a scam for sure. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, this is Uganda, right? And a lot of the things that were being said are plausible, right? People do take their parents' cars. Gas is the most expensive thing anyway. And so I was like, okay, if it's going to cost the same as an Uber ride, then it makes sense to send the gas money. But the location given was like all the way at the airport, which is like, if you're doing gas, that's almost like what, $35, which is a lot in Uganda. Like,
Gas
yeah,
or
just to get,
Uber?
no. Well, the Uber was
Uber.
about, yeah, it was about $35,
Yeah,
which
so
means
that's
gas would be somewhere just under that, right? So I was like, well, I don't want to spend that much. I'm not gonna play the lottery with that much money.
yeah, of course.
And what I decided to do was, okay, you know what? Most scammers do not pick up video calls, right? I mean, she could have been a really smart scammer and picked up the video call. But when I did try to do the video call, now all of a sudden I don't have reception where I am. And yet the location that she's supposed to be in is a resort. And so I did a bunch of. I eventually tried to do a voice call, which kind of went through, but then I wouldn't hear anybody on the other side. And then eventually she was like, "Yeah, I don't know, like I can't get anything through." And I'm like, "All right, send a voice note." And it's like, "Yeah, I'm sending it, but it's not loading." And mine was able to go, and I was like, "All right, this is bullshit." So at that point, I just started playing games for a little bit. I was like, "All right, I'll send you the money. How much do you want?" Right? And then they're
Trolling the
like,
scammer,
yeah, I was like, and then I was like, give me a number. And like, no, just send whatever you think. And I'm like, in my mind, all right, this is just fucking bullshit.
right?
And that's when you found me. And I was like, yep, scam 100%.
Yeah, so obviously don't fall for stupid scams like that. Like, I mean, if someone is asking for money, there's like, it's not for, like, even if it's like a small amount, in my eyes, like, you can just approach anyone and go on a date, Like,
That's true. I mean, I see your point of view. I believe in calculated risk because sometimes I'm like, let's find out. There's maybe something to learn here. And so I was willing to. I was like, I had in my mind how much I was willing to risk, and
which
it
is like
was
$4, I think, like
would have been
12,000
about $12. Yeah, it
shillings.
would have
Yeah.
been like 12. Yeah, about like
No, like
$4.
$4. That
Four
was
dollars was about it.
12,000, like that.
Yeah,
I think it was, yeah,
about
like,
$4, which is nothing.
yeah,
I've
so,
had worse dates for more. So.
yeah, because drink here is like nothing. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no way. Like a glass of wine will still cost like $5, $6. Like cheap places in Europe. But
Wait, but there is a twist. So 5 hours later, Robert's like, "Hey, I think I found a girl on Tinder that's about my type. She looks pretty nice." And then I look and I'm like, "Dude, that's the same girl that tried to scam me."
yeah, because I match everyone who doesn't have tits, and there was this girl with like somehow looking really too good on all of the photos, and obviously we had like a idea that, hey, do you remember whether her profile was verified, photo verified? And I looked and it's like, well, obviously it wasn't, so it was like also a huge red flag. Yeah. When in doubt, if it's not verified, then we'll just. Oh, by the way, obviously, if you're doing online in any place in the world, wherever you're doing this, if it's Tinder, like it's not even worth starting to do it without Tinder Platinum, in my view, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because then you're like she's if you like her, like your profile is the first one she sees on the top. So like anything that's not Platinum is just ridiculous. You're just wasting your time, and if you can afford the flights to come to go anywhere to these, especially to these like less explored areas, so let's call them like that, yeah, then we'll just do that, yeah, and it's like worth those however much you're paying for it. So yeah, what was scams on Tinder? Oh yeah, another red flag I had with the girl was and you had the same, which is what actually I meant when I said red flags before, like a girl suggesting, "Oh, let's go to Mezos," and I look up the venue, and it's obviously like a posh restaurant. It's like, okay, if there is a red flag, that's the biggest. I was at the one of like top 2 or top 3 biggest red flags. Like other things, okay, like no, like asking for flowers, that's like a Ukrainian thing, which is like an extremely big red flag. But each time a girl suggests a specific, especially fancy venue to go to, you know what she's looking for. She's not looking to go out with you. She's looking to go out and get some cocktails or food or whatever that she can't afford on her own. She's basically filtering for a guy who will pay for shit. She's a gold digger. And I had this experience. And then on her Instagram story, she was posting like dumb shit like, nothing feels better like being sent money you didn't ask for, and like other nonsense. And I went over to her highlights in the stories, and I see stories from that restaurant, and then one picture in the corner there's like a white hand, and I was like, okay, I see what you did there. I just canceled the date with her, went out with another chick, and yeah, because I don't want to do that. And I went out with a chick who was investing a lot, sending videos of her, kind of just so that I know how she actually looks. So in a video, it's actually a cool thing. I never done it before, so that's pretty cool.
There was something you did mention about what to say when a girl tries to suggest a venue, and I think it was something along the thing that I checked out the vibe and so my place.
Yeah.
Could you please share that?
Yeah, I just kind of said, yeah, I checked out the place. It's not really my vibe. I like more of like a bar or lounge place. And whatever they say, it doesn't matter because it's not my vibe. I don't want to go there. I'm sorry, if a girl insists on going to a place that's not my vibe, then I mean, do you want to go out with a girl like that? It's obviously that just cancel it. No point in doing that. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about absolutely crazy local traditions about sex, Mr. T.
You know more than I do.
No, do the one that the northern Uganda. First, tell that one.
Okay, so now this is definitely frowned upon by the international community, but there's this thing whereby northern Uganda said the girls do not play with themselves. I think that's really why it was introduced many centuries ago. They actually do cut off their clit, and so yeah, so basically you don't get any. If clitoral stimulation is your thing, you're shit out of luck. You're gonna have to figure out something else to get them turned on.
Yeah, so when I spoke about this with my friend yesterday, who's been living here, and he said that he's actually been with a girl like that. There's still, clit is a big thing that it reaches all the way inside. So, like, they still enjoy sex, but there's no clit. So, a big part of the fun is missing. So yeah, that's still kind of being practiced once in a while, or how frequent?
Yeah,
how common is that?
It's only specific tribes, and I think it's also a thing in the UK, which is actually punishable. But yeah, it's kind of done
in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK, because a lot of there've been African migrants that go to the UK from, I think, Somalia and particularly the tribes that practice this. So it's also a thing that's secretly done in the UK, but is a crime.
Damn. And the other one is something that girls were very surprised that I even knew about.
This one's better. This one's
kind of fun. Yeah, I was just blown away by this.
Very weird though.
So we go on this safari. We go on this safari. We're doing like this walking safari, and then our ranger, our guide, he's showing us all the animals and all the plants. I'm looking for a specific picture on my phone so that maybe I can show it to you if I find it. So he's showing all these things. Wait, let me just quickly find it. I do have that picture somewhere here. If I don't find it, oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, and so I don't know whether this is gonna like focus in the.
I guess you.
Yeah, you see this plant. He shows us this plant, and he like tells you what did he say? Because
he says women use it for lengthening, and I'm like, what? Yeah, lengthening. I'm like, yeah, you know what it is, right? I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he's just staring at me, and I'm staring at him, and then I'm looking at our other guide, and I'm like, I don't know what that word means.
Yeah, so apparently what it means, and there's a sexual tradition where they use the juice of that fruit, and I'm going to tell you later exactly how they do that, how that works, because I found out. on a date to stretch the inner labia so that it can becomes longer, because apparently that keeps the guy in and that keeps the guy warmer, and so it's apparently better for the guy. This is still very widely practiced, as it turns out. I was absolutely blown away, but I'll tell you later, because I found this out. I found out more details about this on a date yesterday. I was just blown away. So that's the crazy sexual traditions that are being practiced here. But now let's talk about the fun part, because I've been on 4 dates. I went on a date on the first day when I got to Entebbe, the city where the airport is. That was actually pretty fun. I did another date on when it was the first evening or the second evening when we arrived here. First evening I wanted to rest, and then I did another date, and both of those ended as lays, and then I did 2 more dates. So let's maybe run over them one after the other because it was actually very interesting, because both lays, they had the same challenges and the same solutions. They were very similar in terms of what I had to deal with. It was very interesting. It brought back some memories, First one was in Entebbe, the city where the airport in Uganda is, because we were spending one night there before we go to the safari. And, I was chatting with some chick there. I was like, okay, might as well go on a date, yeah? I go on a date. I find out how late they show up. That's okay. I'm used to it in Latin America. Just don't leave your place until you know she's on the way. And so we do one venue, we do the second venue. They don't know what it means to say a toast. I really had to teach them how to say a toast, because I always make them say a toast when we get drinks. And first venue, very slow to open up. Oh my God, just have to pull everything out with But then we kind of start playing the 5 questions game, which I've talked about on some videos if you want to just look for that. It's an amazing escalation tool, 5 questions game. And as soon as we start playing it, all the questions she asks are basically sexual. Something like, have you been with a black girl? Have you had a threesome? What are the wild things you've done? Like, everything is like this. Yeah. So you can see that, okay, I guess this is really, really on. Oh my God, she's asking all these questions. I mean, okay, let's see what we can get away with. And this is the second venue, and they're reacting good to kind of light physical escalation, hand on the leg and all of this basic stuff. And then I pull her to my place. Oh, because she hasn't had cocktails, she's only had beer. I've seen some chicks, they don't drink a lot, the ones that I've been out with, So we say, hey, okay, there are no cocktails here. We'll go to my place. I'll make you a gin tonic. We'll stop at the grocery store. We'll get gin, we get tonic. So we get some drinks. We go to my place. The guys I'm staying with, Mr. T and another buddy we were here with, they go out for a dinner. Mm-hmm. We're in the living room on a sofa, drinking some cocktails, and I start to ask her, and she suggests, hey, let's play Truth or Dare, and that's where this gets fucking crazy. Like, it just went fucking berserk. It just, kissing was the light part, and then it's like, I dare you to whatever, take your top off or something. I dare her to take her bra off, pants off. It was just like crazy Truth or Dare type. And she's like, I dare you to do what you want to do. It's like, okay, I put her on her knees and spank her. And then oh yeah, and at one point, like, again, she chooses Dare and was like, hey, I really want to feel your lips on my cock. It's going good, yeah. By that time, I haven't realized they have a notification from the guys that they're coming home from dinner. And I am completely naked sitting on a sofa. She's on top of me in very tiny thong underwear when I realize the gate has just opened and someone's coming in. So we quickly move to the bedroom. Guys come home. Okay, let them in. And then we go to the bedroom to continue our evening. But like, you can see that she's really, really on, and all of these crazy things are happening. But at the same time, like, whenever I try to move closer to actually having sex, it's like, whoa, like this, like, you can see that the stereotypical angel and devil thing going on so wild, where she's just completely fucking horny. While at the same time, she has rules, there are traditions, we don't do this, no sex on a first date, relationships, yada, yada. So, and her logic is really, really fucking strong, yeah? And this is where it becomes interesting. This is something that I've kind of been playing with throughout all of the date, because whenever these topics of traditions and these beliefs about relationships come up, I would just kind of laugh. I would just kind of say, yeah, actually in Europe it's very different. I would say, yeah, in Europe, if we go on a date, we don't have like many rules. We see how we click, what the connection is like. And if people really connect and really like each other, they might have fun. And if they really click, it doesn't really matter which date it is. It could be the first, it could be the third. And then if things go really nice, then, they keep seeing each other, and then eventually it turns into a relationship. Because I find it so weird that people start relationships and only then have sex, because what if the guy can only last 2 minutes? What do you do that? And I did this on many dates, and the chick starts laughing. It's like, yeah, like, what do you do that? It's really fucked. And so when I see these ideas that, hey, this is how we do it, it's sort of like what you do with really, like when you're going out with like a 20-year-old girl, and you kind of say when she's like stopping you a lot, when you try to kiss her, you say, oh, this reminds me of when I was like a teenager going out with younger girls, implying that now I go out with more mature women, and you're not used to this kind of youngster teenager behavior. Now she kind of can understand that as, oh shit, he's probably used to girls who do differently. This is fine for guys my age, but he's a little bit older. I probably shouldn't be acting like a little girl. I should probably, he probably isn't gonna see me again, which is obviously true. Like if guy has been, like, each guy has a rule. Okay, how many dates am I willing to go on with this girl? And then if she drags it along too long, the guy's just not gonna see her anymore. It's like, and for me, in a lot of cases, that can be here. It's definitely like one date for most girls. I'm not gonna go on more than one date. In some cases two, but. So anyways, and here I'm sort of playing around with the same idea. I'm saying, this is what we're doing. This is kind of what's cool. And then you're doing it a little bit differently. Like, I find it weird. I'm kind of I'm planting this idea. And I've been doing things like this throughout the date in multiple ways, right? And and when we're talking about religion, I kind of, also when it comes to these rules, I say, yeah, but who made all of these rules? It's like your parents taught you that, your religion taught you that, like, are they your rules? Are you really happy with these rules? It's sort of like this logical play as well, a little bit throughout both of the venues. And then when I talk about my tattoos on my thighs, they on my quads, they symbolize this idea that there are many rules set upon us by the society, by family, by church, whatever. And when you realize that they're not your rules, they're set by someone else, and you can say no to them, you start thinking, hey, what do I want to do in my life? That's where you become happy, because you start making your own rules. You start living the life you want, not the society kind of made you. All of this fucking long story brings us to last minute resistance, when, that angel part on her shoulder is really, really strong, and she's just, stopping and stopping. And then I just kind of, I start basically making fun of them. It's like, yeah, who told you can't do it? Like, your mom? Jesus said you that? I'm just basically like just sort of like playfully laughing about it. And they react really good, and they kind of realize that, yeah, it totally makes sense, actually, yeah. And then the next thing I was playing around with. Any questions on all of this? So because next time I want to talk about how I'm playing with consent a little bit.
Yeah, how did you arrive at these stories? Did it just come to you as an epiphany? Did you have done this before?
So which story?
The rules? The ones about the rules, and then also, what was the previous thing you spoke about just now? The stories of
young girls.
No, it wasn't the young girls. It was
in Europe. We do it like this.
Yes, that thing.
Because I like to tell stories. I like to tell stories that set like an agenda of what's sort of like. If you wanted to look at it, I haven't found. First of all, before I talked about this on the podcast, I wanted to find like a nicer way to explain this, because the way I explained it to you, it's sort of like it's a little dirty, but you could look at it as inception. You're like planting an idea. You're basically setting up an idea in her mind that this is how things work. This is what is okay. Like, this is how we do it. And this can work when you're going out with like a 1-year-old girl, and you're like maybe 30s, and the teenage thing. Or this can work with old traditions here and what we do in Europe or USA, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. So how did I come up with that? It's an old story. Like that's an old story from even Tom Torero, I think.
Oh,
The
really?
age thing. The age thing, yeah, like, oh, this reminds me of my childhood. Or like not childhood, the priest. This reminds me of the teenage years when I was going out with like really young girls, and they were like so shy, but now I'm older, so it's that. So yeah, that's that. It's just adapted to a different situation. But the other one about who sets your beliefs, whether it's you or the society. My tattoos are really about that. That's the meaning behind my tattoos. How when you realize that all the rules they've taught you about the world, how the world works, like you have to do this and that to be happy and to be fulfilled. Like if you really look at what happens when you do these things, like you're just a lower middle class person barely making it in life. Whereas and then when you realize that all of these rules are completely fake, that you can set up your own rules and live life by your own terms, that's where the happiness comes from. So that's kind of my life philosophy, and it's been like that all along for many years. My parents actually taught me that. And then that's actually a real. I'm telling just how I view the world.
Yeah.
That's how I've always been. I think you know that just as good as like a lot of my good friends. Is I just do what I like in my life, and then as long as it's ethical towards the people closest to me, and in general. So that's that.
And then one more bit going back. Did you do any truths when you were doing your truth or dare?
Oh yeah, in the
Or was it
beginning
all
only, yeah,
dares?
because I didn't want her to make me like dance or sing or whatever. I just like, and I thought she was gonna do something like that, and we only switched to dares when we knew that okay, this is getting really kinky.
Okay.
But the girl suggested truth or dare. I don't really use it on dates. I think it's too cheesy. It's like almost like a childish thing to do on dates.
In a way, I can see how that helps because there's a nervousness on trying to get things moving, probably on her end, and this is kind of more. I have a bit of deniability of playing a game. You don't feel as awkward and like let me just take my clothes off, right? Too much tension.
Yeah. Oh, and when I dared her to give me head, she's like, "Oh, but just so you know, like I have very little experience doing this, so I'm not really good at this." I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna judge you. Don't worry. Like, just experiment. I'll teach you." Anyway, so yeah, and then I decided to play a little bit with consent with her, where I thought if I'm gonna keep escalating, it's always like a little push, and she always can say no, right? Because I'm kind of pushing for more. And this is something I've experimented in the past as well, where I just, before kind of doing anything inside the panties with the fingers, anything like that, because she was just in the panties for like a long time. Before any fingering, anything like that, I just asked, "Hey, I just want to feel how wet you are with my fingers. Is that okay?" And, and then when she says yes, like, I mean, she said yes, so it's sort of, but you kind of know that she's gonna say yes because she's already so turned on, and I think that I think this can be used in a sexy way. I do agree with like the way all these, alphabet people use consent
Sexy consent.
is a
Yeah.
bit like, yeah, the consent is sexy. I think that is fucking like, you don't have to ask, "Hey, may I touch you? May I kiss you? May I, fuck you in the ass?" Like, come on, like that's ridiculous, yeah.
Always ask if you're gonna fuck in the ass. You don't surprise them.
Just surprise anal, yeah. So happened not surprised, but without asking, happened actually in Belgrade while you were fucking your chick in the other apartment, yeah. Uh, um, what was it? Oh yeah, so consent. I think when you play it with it the right way, the asking for consent can be very sexy because it assures security. And I've done this in the past in Prague, where a girl was also like, she's angel devil. You can feel that she's kind of dealing with these, doesn't want to go all the way. And I just say, "Hey, listen, let's agree on a rule." And I've talked about this in a Ukraine podcast, by the way, as well. Let's agree that we can play around. I'm not even gonna try to have sex with you unless you explicitly ask me or unless you explicitly tell me. And this gives them like this sense of security that, hey, this is safe. I can play around. I can enjoy this. And then he's going to ask or I'm going to tell, right? And then it's going to happen. At the same time, Mr. D, what do you think what happens when you play around like that?
I mean, eventually
you're so horny that
you'll just go. Yeah, you're taking the comfort.
yeah, eventually you're so horny that just yeah, and that's it. And as soon as there was fingering, then the rest was just take the shorts, reach for the condoms, and yeah, obviously, yeah, Mr. T told me many times. He messaged me, he's like, use your fucking condom here.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned the consent thing, because there was a time when I was just in Riga, I think I had a similar situation with LMR where I could see that she was really up for it, but I really couldn't get past the blocker. And I think this would have really helped. Too bad I learning about it 6 weeks after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, you learned that consent is sexy.
Well, yes, and also as another tool, I think it would be a good tool. Like if you either have hand on dick or you have consent, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's ways to beat LMR.
With her, like she gave me head way before consent, right? So
I suppose then in that case,
yeah. So yeah, it's a little tricky. So that was that. So that was that lay. It was pretty fun. It was nice. I loved it. She hadn't had sex for a long time. I don't remember how long, but it had been a while. So it's not like she kind of plays around, or at least that's what she said.
Did you pack your lube?
No.
Neither did I. Amateurs.
Yeah, it was not needed. So far hasn't been needed. Which brings us, we did a safari and then we came back here. And then first date I was resting, but I had a date set up for the next day. And I look at her pictures on Tinder and it's like, and she looks like a real good girl and doesn't look that hot in the pictures. I'm like, yeah. Do I want to do this? I'm like, yeah, but I'm in a city. I have nothing better to do. Might as well, go out and try for an easy lay. Let's see what happens. I go out and she looks way better than in the pictures. Oh my God, such a surprise. But again, the first menu with this one, like we have barely started the date. We're like, I don't know, like 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, and she starts to ask me about, we start talking about Tinder experience in general here. And she starts telling me that there's so many weird dudes on Tinder and that like foreigners are specifically weird because they're explicitly talking about their kinks. Hey, do you do this? Do you do that? Guys asking for feet pics and stuff like that. And we're gonna get into this conversation about why she doesn't go out with guys on Tinder. And turns out I'm the first guy she's been out with on Tinder. And there's gonna be some more fun details about things she hasn't done in a while. And basically 30 minutes in, she starts asking me about my kinks. Maybe a bit more, like 45. We get to like she starts asking me about my kinks, and I'm like, do you really want to know? And I start listing fucking bondage, choking, spanking, like all the basic kind of simpler level BDSM stuff, and without going into like crazy details. And she's like, oh my God. But then again, here is again storytelling how you set up these ideas. How I say, yeah, but I don't do this. I only do this with girls who really, really like it or who want to try it. And this doesn't happen on the first time you sleep with someone because you have to trust the person. A girl has to trust me to do this, but I also have to trust the girl to know that she will tell me when she doesn't like anything, because I have to be sure that what I'm doing is safe and she's not doing this just because I like it. She's doing this because she enjoys it. So we need to build trust before we ever do anything like this. And this makes her probably feel safe that I'm not going to do anything like that, but also probably makes her feel safe to, hey, I've never been choked before. Maybe that's fun. Cliffhanger, no. Spoiler alert, she liked being choked. Oh my God, yeah? So she maybe makes her feel safe to try these things if we ever get to that. You were taking some notes?
Oh, just taking notes of exactly what you just said.
Oh, so, okay, I thought that was a question. Or okay. So that's venue 1. We go to venue 2. Yeah, okay, questions game, all of that stuff, whatever. Basic date, go daygamecourses.com, my dating course. All the steps that I normally do on dates are there. The 5 questions game is on my YouTube channel. All of this is absolutely openly available for free. So just, let's not waste time talking about that. We go to the second venue, which she says, oh yeah, there's like a club, like a lounge place, gets crazy loud at night. We walk in, there's almost no one there. And there's like nice sofas on like a top level. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, but they won't let us sit there. It's like for VIPs. And I'm like smiling, saying, like, wait, yeah? Because I know I'm a white guy who walks into a club in Uganda. Like, they're gonna give me a fucking sofa wherever I want. No one looks at us, no one gonna tries to serve us. So first experience with bad service, because here the service is usually just incredible. Yeah, in the decent venues, like very, very top level service. Just it seems that the mentality they have this very good service mentality. Like if they work in service industry, it's just next level how good they are. And every day we go to CJ's, like the service is just unbelievable. Same people serving us, just incredible.
Remember
You
your name?
barely set your dish aside, and they're already take it away as soon as you're finished, and they remember your names. Yeah, just ridiculous, really cool. Anyways, we go to this place, no one's serving us, and it's just they go to the bar. Hey, we just want to have some drinks. What's up? Like, where can we sit? Oh, where you want? So can we go up there? Yeah, of course, go up there. Okay, they bring us menus, and guys, if you go to places that are off the beaten path, yeah, it's like look at the prices and remember them or take photos of the menu, because someone will try to scam you. This applies to Mexico, this applies to a lot of places, especially in like Mexico less, but still sometimes you go to some smaller places, because in a very touristic places, they know that they have to rely on Google reviews. And then as soon as they do anything like that, there's going to be reviews about that. People are not going to go there. Here, it's less of a concern. So we get 2 cocktails, gin tonics. They don't have cocktails on the menu. So it's, 2 orders of gin, 2 orders of tonic. That's it. I know the price. The total price is like something like $6 or like €5.50 basically is the total price, right? And after we've done with our drinks, and I'm pulling to go to a rooftop, I think, to check out the view, and then I ask for the bill, and the chick says, oh yeah, the bill's like 60k shillings, that's 15 euro. And I know that it's like €6. Like, oh yeah, sure, bring me the bill. And as I go downstairs to pay, she's like, oh yeah, we don't have that drink in our system. I was like, yeah, so it's 2 gins, 2 tonics, right? Yeah. I was like, okay, that's 7744. That's 22,000. That's €6. Is it correct? Calculator. Yeah, that's correct. So just pay attention to these things, because like people will try to scam you in some stupid venues. And when I told my buddy who lives here, a foreigner, he also said, oh yeah, that venue is known for doing that basically. Yeah, so just be aware of things like that. Yeah. So with this chick, then we end up on the rooftop, then we go down, we get a cocktail inside the apartment. Guys are again somehow out for the dinner. I'm alone in the apartment with the chick.
Somehow we're
Somehow
always out, huh?
they're always out, being very nice, very hungry when I pull. And so we're, a little bit of kissing. By the way, big resistance in both these dates when going for the first kiss in both cases, yeah. But, something's happening. No. I don't remember how we ended up in the bedroom, though.
You came from the roof by suggesting getting drinks.
Yeah, but we were on a sofa. And I think at one point we were just making out on a sofa a little bit. And I think I picked her up and carried her to the bed. Yeah, I picked her up. I thought, oh, that's going to be fucking sexy, and I'm going to carry her to the bed, which is what I did. And then things, the angel devil with this one is much stronger. I've played all the same cards as on a first date, all the same stories, all the same stuff, very much, being me. But I take off her bra, but her top is on. I take it off from underneath the shirt, and she's like very on and off, and then like and I can see that like she's never probably had sex on a first date, and she says she doesn't do that. She's never done it, and I find out that this girl has been single for 2 years, broke up with her boyfriend, and has only ever had sex with that boyfriend. The last time she fucked anyone was 2 years ago, yeah? So that was kind of, whoa, a bit of a surprise, but that's really cool. But here again, and I can see that she stops herself, and she knows she's smart enough. She's smart. She knows she can't continue because she will get so turned on that she can't stop. And she was very easily being turned on. Like you touch her neck and she just goes berserk and just melts, yeah? So she was very smart. And so I had to employ some very logical strategies. And at the moment when I realized, oh, fuck this, like I can't deal with this anymore. I'm just too tired to deal with this. But I decided that, and when she started, like she stops, and I thought, okay, maybe not going to happen. I don't want to push for it, whatever, who cares? But then I asked her, And I think it's a legit question. Like I didn't ask it to necessarily get laid with her, but because been there, done that, don't care. It's if it's fun for both of us, then I enjoy it. If not, then fuck it. And I just asked her, what would you regret tomorrow more, doing this or not doing this? And she instantly said, I would regret more not doing this. And that's when, the tides turned, she was sort of on, still a bit of, playing around, but yeah, as soon as we got to fingering, the rest was history. With very little experience she has had, she gave decent head. So that was very fun. That was the second lay in Uganda. Very nice girl. And by the way, being the good girl she is, she absolutely, this is an important point, at all points, she understood exactly what she's signing up for. She said as soon as she saw my Instagram handle, Rob the Church Boy, and as soon as she understood that it's not about religion, she knew what it means. She knew that it means the opposite. She knew that it's a one-night stand, which she had never had. And then we had a great lay. I got her a ride home. And next day, I checked in to kind of see how she feels, because obviously she's going to have some, like thoughts next day. Hey, like, was this a good idea? Probably not, So again, I'm checking in, I'm chatting with her a little bit just to make sure she feels good. She doesn't feel guilty about anything and all of that stuff. Yeah. That's the second date. Third one was a girl who was even better. But the girl on the third date. No questions about the second date, right?
No questions about the second.
Okay, the third date, the girl shows up, and she shows up in an elegant dress, like hot ass. The dress was just, oh my fucking god! Like, you see a chick like that in New York City, I don't care how stronger your AA is, you're gonna open. She looked stunning in the dress, yeah? Heels, everything, yeah? Nails done, toenails done, just, yeah? All nice, yeah? Shows up, but seems to be even more of a good girl, even more than the previous ones, right? To not go into all the details here, I kind of have an idea that I might be able to pull, but I would have to deal with a lot of LMR, and I've had a few drinks on the previous day. I'm tired, like slightly hangover earlier the day, went to the gym. I'm super tired. I'm simply too lazy to deal with the LMR on the day, so I just decide I just don't want to do it. And I might, take her to the rooftop just to make her comfortable with being kind of at the building, and then the next time we would go to my place. But I just decided not to do it. I decided, hey, I'm going to send her home. I'm going to go home, just, meet her another day, but I have to kiss her. So I did that on the way out from the venue. I just said, on the way down the stairs, because our driver was waiting for us, I just turned around and say, hey, I know you're really shy, but I got to kiss you. Went in for the kiss. No resistance at all. Fucking nice. We get in a car. My hand on her leg, her hand on my leg, complete physical comfort. We're stopping by my place so that I can get out, and then the driver takes her home. That was kind of the whole plan. This is where the driver was hilarious, yeah, because this is gonna be 18 plus, yeah. This guy, as soon as we get in the cab, he's like, hey, so I'm gonna ask you a question. In Europe, what do you do for over weekends? And I tell him, we just, some people go out partying. I really don't. I go like out nature or meet my friends or go fishing or just chill at home. I don't care, but I'm being polite, Say, hey, what do you like to do over your weekends? And this guy increases his voice, like starts speaking louder and very confidently and like bragging. On my weekends, I like to fuck my wife. I have a really nice wife and I just like fucking her. While there is a stunning girl in the back seat of that Uber, and he's just going fucking mental. Yeah, and I have a beautiful daughter. I spend time with her, and my wife, she knows how to cook. I don't have to go out to eat. I'm Muslim, so I really like to fuck my wife. Yeah, on the weekends, I fuck my wife really hard. And I'm just like, oh my fucking, I look at the girl, I was like, hey, do you feel safe going, like him taking you back to your place? Because, and she's just like, no, this is okay. Don't worry about it. It sounds like this is like a normal occurrence.
Never happened to me.
But the guy that I went for dinner with yesterday, he gonna said, yeah, like you can sometimes see shit like that for people like are just a little too open, you know.
Too much in my
Yeah, because I
information.
told you about the date girl also did a bit of too much information type of stuff that I didn't want to know, you know. And yeah, that's so yeah. And then, but later, the driver turned out to be a piece of shit where he starts to ask me for money in chat. I'm outside of the car already. I gave her cash to pay for the ride, right? And I'm already pissed, but then I see the car has stopped for like a while and there's like a parking lot nearby. I'm like starting to get worried about the girl. I was like, hey, but I understand the traffic is terrible. It could be that she's standing in 1 minute for like 15 minutes and that's okay because of traffic. Even I get an Uber notification. Your ride has stopped for a while. Are you sure you're okay? And I called the girl. I was like, hey, like, and she's not responding to WhatsApp messages, by the way. It's like data is off. So I called her to ask, hey, are you okay? Like, because the car isn't booming, yada, yada. Yeah. And she asks me, what are you doing? I'm cooking dinner. And she says, oh, yeah, that sounds all nice. I would want to have dinner today. But I would have wanted to have dinner with you. It's like, whoa, these girls seem to be even more of a church girl than the rest of them. But this one's actually telling me, hey, I wish I could, you know, have dinner with you or whatever that means. Yeah. So, yeah, that was fun. That was the third date. She's coming over to my place on Wednesday. On Wednesday, and then yeah, we'll see how that goes. Probably it's gonna go well. And then very shortly I did another date yesterday, but
Wait, hold on. It's 100% guaranteed going to happen.
it's 100% guaranteed going to happen, guys. This is an inside joke. We're in a group chat. Sometimes guys say, "Oh, I have a date, and this is definitely gonna happen." As a rule of thumb, I think we haven't had a single case. I think when guys said this is definitely going to happen, I mean, we haven't had a single case where it actually happened.
Maybe once Bingo got it to happen, but
well, yeah, but Bingo by that time was advanced. He had learned that.
Oh, okay.
Because it originated from a Bingo, from a great day gamer from San Francisco. I've done a few podcast episodes with him where, yeah, it was like inside joke where this is definitely going to happen. So I have a date with her on Wednesday and it's definitely going to happen, you know? No, we'll see. Yeah, and yesterday I go on a date and I'm tired and been on like dates multiple days in a row. I'm like, I was kind of hoping she would flake or whatever. She shows up. She doesn't really look like the pictures. Nice body though, but you know. And then on a date, I realize she's wearing a wig, which is turns out a thing here. I'm like, as soon as I see that, I'm like, why the fuck? That's fucking that. I don't like that. And that wig looks like someone didn't take care for it, good enough care for it. Like, you know, when you bleach your hair too much and it looks like shit, it kind of looks like, I understand, you know, people come from different backgrounds and it's type of stuff here, but I was just not about it, you know. I was on this date. I was like, I'm not interested in this. Like, just let me have some fun. And I just went completely stupid on this date. I made so many like inappropriate jokes, just did dumb shit verbally. When she said something I didn't agree with it, I fucking went into arguments. She very much disagreed with gay rights and she's like very much against them. That's not natural. People do that. I fucking had a nice argument about that. Telling her that they're gay animals. She didn't agree with that. Then when she realized, oh shit, there are gay animals, she said, oh, but they are animals. We're not animals. We're so much better. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. But then I'm thinking, hey, my friend has just arrived in this country. I can be here with her, or I can call my friend and go for a dinner with him 30 minutes from now. So that's what I did. I called my friend, set up a dinner. I told her, oh, it's cool, but yeah, I'm meeting this friend in 30 minutes. Let's finish the drink. Sent her home and enjoyed a lovely evening having dinner with my friend. That's everything that we've learned from the dates here. LMR stuff has definitely been very interesting. Some good takeaways, good practice with stuff that, you know, oftentimes you don't see LMR like this. It's usually with kind of less experienced girls who, you know, still are, you know, that have a strong angel side inside of them. Which brings us to what's the plan for the rest of the stay? What's your plan for the rest of the stay, mister?
Actually get my sets in. So no more safari, no more planning for stuff. Yeah, so looking forward to later this evening.
Yeah.
And the next few days. And then see if I can also get an actual girl, real girl from online to show up.
Yeah. My plan is that I've unmatched everyone who doesn't have tits. Online, very little, only if it's like fucking perfect. Oh my god, stunning. Other than that, I'm not interested because I want to do day game here. There are a lot of really very nice girls walking around in the evening, so I definitely want to do some day game sets. So today, before my date, I'm gonna put in some sets as well. Um, if it's online, yeah, only if she's really hot. So because I do want to get some day game lace here. I do want to try to schedule the date with the girl from the crafts market. So that's one. And another thing I want to experiment with, because my buddy said that it's so easy to pull here, that I might experiment with pulling after one venue. I do think that with these kind of good girls, it might lead to much more last minute resistance. But I think on some days it's worth experimenting with pulling after one venue. I'll kind of see how it goes, and I can maybe try it, and then if not, then go to the second venue and then pull. So that's kind of the plan here. Just work, gym, and day game, like the good old days. I don't do these types of trips too often. So I'm gonna enjoy this while it lasts. And all this being said, guys, if you want to join on like a fucking mental trip with me, then in January, I am going to one of my favorite day game locations in the world in Mexico. I have 2 coaching spots there. One of them is already booked, and one last spot is available. So it's gonna be a blast. Yeah, we're gonna spend 1 week approaching tourists from North America, from Europe, a lot of local Mexican girls from Argentina, Chile who go there to work, tourists from Brazil, Colombia, other places. If you go there at the right time, yeah, because some guys are saying in the YouTube comments, there's no volume. Bullshit. You didn't know when to go there. That's why you have no volume. Ha ha. You fucked up. I shouldn't have said this publicly. Now people will know when to go to Mexico. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun basically. So if you want to join me for that, there is one coaching spot left available. All the details about how coaching usually works, the pricing, etc., is available in link in description. There you'll also be able to schedule a call where we'll talk details. You can ask any questions you have. I'll get to know you, so I understand how can I help you. Because after all, we both have the same goal. We both want to understand if I can help you with this. And yeah, so let's talk on the call about that. And that's it for this time, Mr. T.
Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, everybody.